other like TV completely. I think is very good. And about UFC, mainly in this stuff.
Oh, okay, that sounds good. And this would be a really big interview for you, big man. You know that?
Yeah,
Okay, why do you sound sad?
it's good.
Absolutely. Okay, how many jobs did you apply for today?
I was involved.
Oh, okay, so you already worked today?
Yeah,
That's really
in
good.
this in the that part-time jobs.
That's really good. Okay, good. Are you gonna pay rent?
Yeah, when I have money.
Okay, that's good. All right. Well, I was worried about you. I wasn't gonna put too much pressure on you, but I'm glad to hear that you're okay. We're not happy with grandma. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah,
But it is what it is. I think grandma probably got some pressure from her other daughter, which probably manipulated her. So you don't get along with your aunt.
no,
Did you ever do
no, we
anything?
don't.
And you don't get along with your cousin?
No, too. I never see. I don't see my cousin like 5 years. Yeah, 3 years. For my mom's side.
Okay, I understand. All right. Well, I'm glad to know that you have a roof over your head and that you're
Yeah,
working. Those are good things. And then you've got a really good pickup here, so that's really good, my man.
and
All right. Do you have look up in your area? Just go to ChatGPT and put your city wherever it is in Czech Republic, and then type in temporary employment agency.
I am in the agency. I am
Okay.
in the agency. They offer us like every day for some company is 1 day job and we can accept it or
Okay.
not.
Okay. Do they have any other agencies where you are though? Because why not get in with
Yes,
multiple? If you get in with multiple agencies, you have more opportunity and
yes,
better positions.
yes, they have, but one I am banned from that,
Why are you
and
banned?
second,
Why are you banned?
because somebody says some bullshit about me, and they ban me.
Okay, what did they say about
I don't remember. I don't remember. I can't remember. I don't remember. And second is very hard for me. The is like very physical jobs. I can do that because my knee.
you? Okay, but you're gonna have surgery on your
But
knee. You're gonna have surgery on your knee in the next 6 months, right? Okay.
then no next 3 months or 2 months. It's
Okay.
like very soon.
Okay, that's great. Okay. Well, I'm glad you're doing okay, big man. I was worried about you.
Okay, yeah, I'm very fine. Like okay, it's like big thing. I'm like big thing.
Dude, this ESPN interview is giant, my man.
And that I will gonna have next week main guy for police in my main city
That's really big too.
in Prague.
That's really big too. So that one's gonna be in
Well,
Czech, and then the
yeah,
the UFC one's in English.
and like The ESPN will be in English.
That's really great, my man. You should be proud.
I hope so is good.
I think it's very good.
Why?
Well, that's a big person. That's a big get. That's not necessarily a celebrity, but it's getting there.
Right. What is your podcast journey?
Where am I at with podcasting? Um, let's see here. On Tuesday, I did two of them, and they were both audio only, which is fine. And then I connected with that other guy who has like 179,000 followers or subscribers on YouTube, and we're gonna do a podcast on Tuesday. And then I've got like four other podcasts that I need to schedule. Um, so what do I need to do with them? One of them, this one's funny. I think this one's really funny. This one guy was like, "Hey, like normally, if I like email you, you send me an email back, right?" This guy sent me a video, and he sent me the link to the video, which was like I didn't have access to it. Like he didn't grant me access or whatever. So I had to ask him for access. So basically, what this guy was doing, he has a small podcast. It's not like he's some really big guy. He's like, all right, well, I saw your proposal and everything, and it looks okay. But here's what I want you to do. I want you, if you would please, to give my podcast 5 stars on Spotify and iTunes and that kind of stuff. And then I wrote a book, and I want you to read my book. I'm like, oh, I gotta read a book to be on your podcast, but I'm not against it. He sent me the audio version. It's something I could potentially listen to just to hear what his book is. But his book is like a fiction book, um, so he sent that to me. Another one, I've got a call to arrange one on Sunday, and then I've got another two to make arrangements. But I'm not super worried about them. I've got next week. I've got I've got let's see here. Next week I've got two podcasts next week. But here's what I did, which is really cool, really cool. And in fact, it's so cool that I would do the same thing if I were you. So pay attention. I can teach you how to do this. Okay, so I wanted a list of like all the podcasts in the world, and that's like a valuable list to me. And many people could be like, well, just go to Spotify and just like start copying and pasting information from Spotify. Here's the thing: Spotify does not allow very easy extraction of that data. You can't copy and paste it really easily. And so what you have to do is use OCR, optical character recognition, which takes a long time and isn't always that accurate. And iTunes is
So
the
like,
just hold on, just hold on. And iTunes is the same way. Okay, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
so like you are going to be on a big podcast soon.
Yeah, on Tuesday. Tuesday's podcast has 179,000 subscribers.
I am.
Yeah, um, and then let me see the one. There's another one that's going to be really big, and it's been around for 14 years. 14 years is a long time to have a podcast,
Yeah, that's good.
and that one's early next month. But
Let's.
yeah. So like, I don't know. I've got like two already set up for next week, but I haven't been putting a lot of pressure on myself because I have been developing what I think is a really good strategy. So just one moment. Hold on. I'm going to tell you what this strategy is because you might want to use the same strategy. So, so just one moment. You don't know what the strategy is, and I'm going to teach you what the
I'm
strategy
not talking to you right now.
is. You're not what? What'd you say, big man?
Nothing. Continue.
Okay, so if you want to get a list of all the Spotify podcasts and iTunes podcasts, it's not very easy. You have to use what's called optical character recognition, where it basically uses a computer to scan all of the text, and then you copy all of the text, and it's it's just not that easy to do. And even if you do that, you can only get like maybe like 100 or 200 podcasts at once, which is okay. But I want like thousands over the course of a day. And so what I did was you have to you know me pretty well. You're always like you go big, and that's absolutely right. I don't want small time. I want big time. So then, as I was thinking, why isn't there an easy way for me to just copy and paste and make my own database of like all of the podcasts in the world? Now, I know right now,
Oh my.
I know right now that like there are approximately anywhere between 350,000 and like 2 million active podcasts in the world, and that's not an overwhelming amount. I can wrap my head around that, and so I thought, okay, well, how do I get a list of all their names? Because that's really hard to do, especially when the podcasts, many of them are just called the AI podcast. Well, you need some specificity. It can't just be the AI podcast. It's got to be the AI podcast of Jack Smith or whatever. Like, I need to know more about it. So I went to YouTube, and on YouTube, they have a podcast section. And basically, if you're a big podcast, you have a YouTube podcast. You have your podcast on YouTube. Like, you don't technically have your podcast on YouTube podcast. It's within YouTube Music, and it's something that I would recommend that you do. Is create a podcast page for uh, your podcast. Now you're like, I have it, Rabbi. You've seen it. I have your videos that are a podcast on YouTube. That's fine. That's the video part. But there's a under YouTube Music they have podcasts, and so I went to that section. And when you type in a word into it, it will give you like 1,000 results, and you can copy and paste them really easy. So I was like, oh, this is what I needed. So I take the 1,000 results for a word like the, or of, or a, like a really short word that's in a lot of different podcasts. Like yours is the Life podcast or whatever. Like it would show up if it were in there potentially. And so I take a word. So I took the 1,000 most common words in English and put them in a spreadsheet. And then what my robot does is take one of those words and puts it into YouTube podcast. And then it gives me a really long list of all the podcasts. I copy all of those. I put it into ChatGPT, and I ask ChatGPT to organize it so that it's like really clean data. It's like it'll put like the name of the podcast, and then it'll put like who publishes it and all of that. Then I have the robot take that information and put it into a spreadsheet. And I just started doing this within the last 24 hours. I was able to collect like 38,000 podcasts, which is a lot of podcasts. And these are pure podcasts. So when I would go into ChatGPT and I'd be like, give me a list of podcasts, it'll just make stuff up that aren't really podcasts, but these are real podcasts. So then what I did is I was like, okay, this is great. I These are real podcasts, and within just the last 24 hours, I've gotten like 38,000, and it's really nicely organized. So then I take about 25 of those names of those podcasts, and I have this robot put it into ChatGPT, and then I ask ChatGPT to give me email addresses for all of them. Usually ChatGPT does not want to give you email addresses because they would prevent exactly what I'm doing. But if you play with it enough, you can get really clean lists of podcasts. And then what I ask it to do is I say, go to the place's website, and then also we're going to use like generic names for email addresses. So like yours, let's say you had lifepodcast.com, but I don't know, like maybe I don't know it's Tony at lifepodcast.com or whatever. It will search the internet to see if that's available anywhere. And then it will also give me generic email addresses that are included, like admin and info and contact and support at like podcast or what.com or whatever, just really common things. And I don't care if they're not necessarily real email addresses, that because I'm not getting banned. Usually you get banned if you send out from your email service, but at least the email service that I've been using, I haven't run into that issue yet. So then what I've done is I start scraping all of that information, and I've only done like 1,000 of them today, and maybe like 3,000 actually. So like 1/10 of it, and I've already gotten like 10,000 emails from them. And these are legit. These are like really good, solid emails. Like the other emails that I got were good, but they're more like bigger companies and stuff. These are specifically podcasts. They're only podcasts. And so then what I'm gonna do is go ahead.
What do you think about entertain artists in America?
We're not talking
What do you
about
think?
we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about my strategy.
Okay, sorry.
You're
Okay.
okay. Um, we can talk about that later. So I am collecting these email addresses, and my goal is to have at least 100,000 email addresses, and then every like once a minute, I'm sending out emails to 10 people using blind carbon copy so that they can't see that other people are on the email. And I have this like machine, this like robot that's just sending out emails, 10 of them per minute, using basically 10 different email accounts. And so um, I'm putting out like something like, oh, 600 emails an hour, something like that, which is a lot. Now, are they all going to people's inboxes? No. In fact, most of them are not. Most of them are going to people's spam mail, but that's fine. And the reason why I say that's fine is because a few days later, I get people who send me a message. They say, "Hey, Rabbi, sorry, I didn't get your message earlier. It went into my spam folder." So people are checking their spam folder, and they're like, "Hey, I would love to do a podcast with you. What's your schedule look like? Do you want to set up a call?" Yeah, exactly. So think of it like this: most people don't want to send out lots of emails because they go to spam. I say to myself, if 1% of emails that go to spam get opened, and I send out a million emails, well, that's 10,000 emails that are getting read, which is a lot. You know what I mean? I'm basically embracing the fact that these are going to spam. I recognize that they're going to spam. If they're going to go to spam, that's fine. I'm going to send out tons of them. And the thing that has been really great is the email service that I've been using has not flagged me, and I looked how big it is. It's got like 10 employees, so it's not like a huge organization. And if anything ever happens to my email addresses, I can pretty easily just create new accounts. And the fact that it's been working for like 2 weeks now is all I need. Like that's really good. Like even if they ban me every 2 weeks, which I don't anticipate them doing, because they haven't banned me at all yet, um, then I could just continue to do this. So in terms of this system that I've got, it's basically three parts. The first part is getting names of as many podcasts as I can, and I'm also doing this with creators too. Um, so what it will do is it will just find like I'll ask ChatGPT for like the top 100,000 YouTube creators, and it'll provide me like with their usernames, and then it's a good idea to just take the username and put at gmail.com, because a lot of people are using their username as their Gmail. And so I already know that there's a high probability that that's a real email address. And so this allows me to email Mr. Beast and Kai Sanat and I
Oh
show
my God.
speed and those kind
Really?
of things. Yeah, because I have access to their email address. Now, is my email going, into their cell phone? It's probably going into their spam mail, but they have people who are checking that because they're big organizations. So because of that,
Yes.
this is a very good strategy. Okay, so that's what I've been doing, and uh,
Nice.
I've just kind of been watching my I've just kind of been watching my strategy to make sure it continues to work. Um, Very interestingly, as I said this right now, I have to restart one of my computers, not the one we're talking on, but just just interestingly, like uh, I run these computers so hard, 24 hours a day,
Mhm.
that like they eventually need breaks. Well, not really. They don't need breaks. They just need me to like maybe once every week or two restart them. Like normally, someone doesn't keep their computer on 24 hours a day all the time. Normally, they
Yeah.
shut it down, but I never shut my computers down. My computers literally run for years, 24/7. So anyway, that's what I've been doing with that. In terms of your question that you asked about the Tate brothers, we don't know a whole lot in terms of what happened or what these allegations are. They have 38 allegations or whatever. That's a lot. Um, but these could be just trumped up charges. They could be, like false accusations. They're just trying to silence these guys. So, in answer to your question, what's going on with them? Your guess is as good as your average American. But they were arrested in Miami, and I believe are awaiting extradition to England,
Yeah.
which should happen within the next month or so.
Are you ready for this too? Because you will be one day the biggest person on internet. Some girls or some people want to like do this like they do it with dates.
Yeah, that's a good
Are you
that,
ready for it?
that's a good question. I invite it because I've only treated women in the past really, really well, and I have a record of it with lots of girls and only good experiences. Women speak very highly of me because I've treated them with respect. And so I invite, if anybody said, Rabbi did something inappropriate, I have like 100 girls that will stand up. More than that, more than that. I have like, over the course of my life, I have like hundreds of girls who would be like, that's just not how he treats women. And on top of that, for the last like almost 5 years, I've been on camera. So there's a good question that somebody would be like, well, we know he hasn't done anything appropriate with women on because he's been on camera 24/7. Why didn't you bring this up beforehand? You're just trying to get money. But no, I mean, to be honest with you, I live a very religious life. So my interactions with women were limited for some periods of time. And then when I had my wilder side, I only treated women really, really well. So I would invite, I would invite all the women with whom I've had any type of relations in the past to one day be together and to talk about me because I have that much confidence. Like I'm not worried about that at all.
Okay. Okay. Because some women can just say that. Like they can say, yeah, he just be bad, was bad to me and this shit. And like in the court a lot, and the woman is more very good than guy. Before that.
Well, that's true, but then the question would be, why didn't you bring this up before? I mean, Rabbi's been online for 5 straight years. It didn't bother you enough then, and we have hundreds of women who are going to talk about me in a positive way. So you'd have to be like, okay, so when did you guys ever meet? When did you and Rabbi ever meet? And
Mhm.
under what conditions? And I mean, I know all of the women who with whom like I mean, it's a lot of women, but never at any point did I even like have anything like I'm really big on consent, really big on consent, and um, the worst that anyone would be able to say. I mean, there just really isn't a case of anybody who could be like Rabbi treat as a woman. Rabbi treated me badly. I've only treated women like above and beyond with respect and kindness and love. And I mean, I always hold doors. I always pay for meals. I always um, write thank you notes. I'm invited to meet their families. Like I've only been really good. So, um, have I been perfect? As close to perfect as you can, I would say. I mean, nobody's perfect, but like at least with women, I treat them very well. And um, have I been a perfect person my entire life? No. I mean, everybody has made mistakes, but I haven't made any mistakes that I don't think can be forgiven in the future. And certainly nothing like any kind of these types of assaults or anything like that. Nothing like that.
Mhm.
So I'm not.
So like you are not worried about that,
No, not
about
at all.
this kind of.
No, not at all. Um, in fact, I'm kind of the opposite. I would love, I would get joy out of all the women with whom I've had relationships or any kind of friendships and relationships in the past to come together. Like nobody else is going to tell you that, but I do. I mean, I've spoken to the women afterward. If and I don't hold grudges against anybody. I generally like they don't either. But I mean, the worst that I think probably. I mean, I've had girls really crush on me really hard and write me love notes and love letters and stuff, um, and it just wasn't the right time with them. And so the worst they're gonna say is Rabbi just gave me space. But I've never cheated on anybody, which is a big deal, you know. So no, at no time, that's a really big one. At no time will any girl ever be like, he was in a relationship with me, and then there was this girl on the side. There's none of that. Not a single time. I've never cheated on anybody. So like that's really good. It's not like I've got like a an ex-wife who's really mad at me. And any girl of the past, I've never cheated on them, so I can say that like with complete clean conscience that like I'm a one person man kind of deal, and um, I've never cheated on them. Uh, I just haven't.
Do you want to meet dates one day? You want to meet them and maybe do something with them?
Um, to be honest with you, I don't know that much about them, and I know you love them. I know that they've had some controversies in the past, and to be honest with you, I believe everybody deserves a second chance, and so
Mhm.
I'd be willing to go in with an open mind and such, but uh, I would want it to be public, and I'd want to live stream it and everything, and just like I would meet both sides of wars, and I'd meet both sides of religions, and I'd meet both sides of political questions. I would meet them, and I would also meet their accusers. I'd want to give their accusers their time to tell me what happened and perhaps do interviews and stuff.
And why do you say I love dates? Why do you think that?
Uh, because you have mentioned in the past that you want to be very successful someday. Like Elon Musk was number one, you said, and number two was Tate. And so I know you hold him in very high regard.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this: he's in the United States. He's kind of a fringe character. He's not like a mainstream celebrity.
But like one time it was the most Google man on the planet.
That's incorrect. He can tell you that all he wants, but no time was he ever bigger than Donald Trump.
Mhm.
So he can tell you that, and that's a cool story. But if you were to ask 100 Americans, do you know who this guy is? Only like 10 of them would be able to tell you who this is. He's smart. Now, where is he big?
Mhm.
He's big with men under age 30. Like that's his like men ages 18 to 30. That's his big group. But if you ask a 50-year-old man who this guy is, they don't know, and especially a 50-year-old woman doesn't know who he is. He hasn't done anything. Like, what did he do? He set up some kind of like sex trafficking website or something, and would basically get girls to do OnlyFans, and that's not mainstream. It's not like he's been in a movie or he's been on television or he is uh, a politician. He's none of those things. In fact, he's basically a, a fringe, just not a mainstream character. Uh, but that doesn't mean he's a bad person or a good person or either way. It's just if you were to ask your average American, hey, do you know who this guy is? They're gonna be like, no. And those who know would be like, yeah, wasn't he arrested overseas or something? But like, but like, let me ask you, why is he famous? Are you gonna answer my question?
Sorry, I was.
That's
What was your question?
why is Andrew Tate famous? Or his brother? I've no. To be honest with you, I have no idea who his brother is. And if his brother were sitting right next to me, I would have no idea. I have no idea what he looks like. I don't know what his first name is. I don't know anything about it.
And
And you've got to understand as
sorry,
well, these guys, I know they're from the United States or whatever, but they didn't have traditional lives in the United States. They lived in England for a long time. They're not like from Los Angeles. They didn't grow up on television. They're, I mean, I had to look this up the other day because I didn't know anything about him, really. His dad was a chess grandmaster and his mom was like, I don't know, had some kind of job. Like, it's not like it's like, oh, that's so and so's son or, some celebrity family. Like, that, when you kind of have to do that now to get into the mainstream, or you have to have a television show, or you have to have a movie. I mean, does does Andrew Tate even have a podcast? He's been on podcasts.
yes,
He's been on podcasts.
yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
he
yeah.
has
Wait,
a
wait, wait.
pod,
The only reason
yeah,
why I know this is because I was scraping all this data and I saw he had a podcast. But nobody listens to that podcast compares to Joe Rogan.
mhm,
He
like Andrew Tate was in Big Brother in the in England.
exactly England, not the United States.
Yeah,
So Americans don't watch British television really. So we don't know. We like. I know he's from the United States, but we don't even really consider him like he's an American, but he has like a mother who's not from the United States. He has he's a social media personality is what he is, and um, he's the whatever he's toxic misogyny and stuff like that. That's not mainstream. People don't like that. I mean, they like when you treat people with respect. Generally,
true, true.
so in answer,
He
so in
okay.
in answer to your question, he's not very well known in the core mainstream of the United States, and he might be known on Twitter or on social media or whatever, but that's still not. the mainstream American, and his brother's certainly not known. And the fact that they have all of these charges against them isn't a good look for him, especially in different countries.
Like that's that's true. That's true. And I know like if he going to be small in England it's over for him. It's like over because they were gonna spend lifetime in jail.
I disagree with you. He's not going to spend a lifetime in jail, and I think it's probably the best thing that could ever happen to his career. So he should be happy with this. It puts him in newspapers. It puts him in magazines. It puts him more on social media and more mainstream things. And of anything that Americans like is an underdog story. They like stories. Americans, we like stories of somebody who was hated and then eventually becomes loved.
And his father was in he was in I think I don't know he was in languages they speak like languages and he was a grandmaster and they have a assistant.
Okay, so if you look at what he's known for kickboxing. Nobody knows him. No, there's not. If you ask 100 Americans name a kickboxer, 99 of them can't name a single one ever of any kickboxer ever. He's known for his webcam business, which was a creepy thing, and then he's known for his criminal charge. Frankly, he's kind of like an Aiden Ross kind of character that the people who know him love him and are all about him, but he's still not very mainstream. Even Aiden Ross isn't that mainstream. Aiden Ross isn't an actor. He's not on television. He may say, well, he gets all these views on Kick and Twitch, but those are bots. So how could they get bigger? It would be to go to one of the major television or Netflix or somebody like that and get your own television show. They're big enough to do that now. That's what if I were Aiden Ross, I would say to him, you should go to Netflix, you should go to Amazon, and you should have your own show on there. Just pitch them something, just to become more mainstream.
They was in 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 Morgan show. Piers Morgan.
Okay, hold on. Pierce Morgan isn't from the United States. He had a niche show on CNN, and I'm talking about like to get people in the center of America to know who you are. You have to do more than just be on some kind of like CNN show. And it's like, why should we even care about him? Where did he go to college? Like, does he have a degree?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, usually for people to take you seriously, you have to be educated. I'm not saying you have to be. I'm not saying you have to be, but I don't think he went to college. I'm not saying you have to, but it's like he didn't come from academia. He just had a kickboxing career. He was a failed kickboxer, and then he got into this webcam business where he took advantage of all these girls, which isn't cool. So he's a scumbag for that, at least for that part of his life. And then he had all the sexual assault allegations in Europe. But even still, that's Europe. That's not the United States. If these charges happen in Florida or they happened in California, or they happened in New York, or they happened in like where more Americans are, we care more. But as of right now, he's kind of like a British person, kind of he's American, he was born in America, but like um he just hasn't done anything in America that you can say to your average American citizen, don't you remember him from this? They're gonna say no.
But I hear the connections with those family.
Yeah, but so does everybody else.
Mhm.
And it's not like, I mean, to my knowledge, he wasn't. He's not really close with him. He's not. They don't take like a ton of pictures together, to my knowledge. And even if they are, even if they do, Donald Trump isn't seen as that good of a person. He's seen as a very bad person by at least half the country. So that's not like a. That's not like a. That's something that you really like want to embrace. And I don't know. Maybe I just have like a view, a California based view, and what he's done is um more like European, but I'm just incredibly um I'm incredibly unimpressed with what he's done. I mean, he hasn't started any. What he doesn't have any businesses that are like legitimate, or what does he do? Like embrace an energy drink or something like that? Like nobody or spokesperson for an energy drink. There's nothing. There's nothing unique about him. There are 1,000 Andrew Tates out there who are failed martial arts guys who get into the manners.
Yeah.
Now,
And I
now, does that mean that I don't think he could be really big in the future? I do, because he could he could either be found not guilty or whatever, and then but what does he need to do? He needs to start a business. He needs to be on television, be in a movie, have a music career. He needs to do something more than just kickboxing and having a webcam business.
he is just where to get.
His dad's a chess player. Yeah. If you ask 100 Americans to name 5 chess players ever, they can't do it. 99% of them cannot do it. So you have to understand, chess in the United States, it's very niche. It's very small. They could maybe name Magnus Carlsen, Bobby Fischer, and Gary Kasparov. Those are the only three anybody can really ever name. Aside from that, nobody knows it.
Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. I think, I think, and I hope this is right. I think these allegations is fake, and I think they are innocent men, but we will see.
We will see exactly. And do you know why you know more about them than perhaps most people?
Because I program.
You follow them. You're their key demographic, but also they got in trouble in Romania, right?
Yes.
And guess what? Romania is a lot closer to where you are than where it is to where I am. Meaning, it's like maybe within 1,000 miles of where you are. So it's like, you know, in the news and stuff. In the United States, it was like it's small. It's very small. He's not a big. He's absolutely not a big celebrity.
Mhm. What do you think about World Cup final?
What do I think about the World Cup final? Um, I'm glad that there's a new World Cup team that's the champions. I think it's good to have different people, different champions, if that makes sense. Um, I think that I think that I mean, like most Americans, we don't care about soccer, so we will not pay any more attention to it until 4 years from now.
No,
I hate to say it, but like we just don't care about it. It's like the fifth biggest sport in the United States.
no.
We might There might be a little bit of care, very little, when the World Cup comes to Los Angeles in 2 years, or not the World Cup, the Olympics.
Do you think too, if your if your best basketball and your best athletes play football, you guys will win World Cup?
Uh, you're asking if our best athletes played soccer, would we win the World Cup? Yeah, we'd win it every single year, and here's why: we have the most amount of money for training of any country, and a large population, and we have really big people. So you could have like 7 foot tall soccer players if you wanted. And like our best athletes don't play soccer. The reason why they don't play soccer is because soccer players make far less money than football players and basketball players and baseball players.
Ronaldo is making 10 times more than like your best basketball player.
Um, no, that's not correct. LeBron James makes as much as Ronaldo does, and Michael Jordan makes 10 times more than Ronaldo.
But 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 why you guys calling yourself when you play NFL and these games world champion when it's only played in the America?
Well, in terms of baseball, there is a team from Canada, and the idea is we bring all the best players in the world to our country to be able to play. So all our sports generally have like people from a lot of different countries. So we basically say that if you're going to play here, we take the best of the world, but it's just an easier thing for branding, like the World Series. So like take the World Series, the best Japanese player in the world, Shohei Otani. He plays in the United States. He plays for the Dodgers. All the best Latin American players, all the best players in the world play in the United States or Canada. So we call it the World Series.
But that for me, if you say world champion for me, like you beat Argentina, With Brazil, you will become them. That's why the world champions means.
I know you say that, but Argentina doesn't have a good enough. They're not good enough at the sport to be able to put a team together to be able to compete with the best players from the United States.
Yeah, that's true, but I think you cannot say you are world champion when you play in your country and not play with against other countries.
Okay, but here's the thing: they play in our league. All the best players from Europe, all the best players from Europe come to the United States and play in the NBA, right?
Yeah.
Is there a single really good, like overly good European player who refuses to play in the United States? No, they all do. Wembayama and Dirk Nowitzki and all the best European players come to the United States to play. It would be
Why?
it would be
Okay.
it would be different if the United States said you have to be American to play in our league and we're going to call ourselves the world champions. That would be different, but it's not that way. We invite people from all over the world, the whole world, to come and play. And if you win, then you've beaten the best of the world.
Okay. Why? Why is okay? Why American teams Super Bowl is biggest and more popular than World Cup? When World Cup final match is like more 10 times more views than NBA finals and your football finals.
Well, the World Cup is a like it comes down to how easy is it for people to get into the sport. To get into soccer, you just need a ball, basically. You don't even need shoes. To play football, to play American football, you need cleats, you need a ball, you need a helmet, you need pads. So a bunch of people who are poor soccer players can watch it and get into it, and then because most of the world is poor, it gets a lot of views. But like in comparison, like we have a big basketball tournament in the United States called the NCAA basketball tournament, and it has a bunch of games in it, and it over the course of its time gets about as many views in the United States as the World Cup does. The World Cup has, I mean, the World Cup didn't get as many views in the United States as the Super Bowl does. It's just not as big. And and on top of that, the World Cup is once every 4 years, and our sports are
Yeah,
once every year. If the World Cup were every year, it wouldn't get nearly the ratings that it got.
like the football between Argentina and Spain was watching almost 2 million people, 2 billion people. That's oh my god, that's so much people. Like football is bigger than your sport because your finals never watch 2 billion people.
It's once every 4 years. If you compare it with the Olympics, that's more comparable. It's only once every 4 years, and the people who are watching it are poor. They're from like Latin American countries, and they're from Africa, and they're from like 4 European countries. I'm not saying everybody, but it's not like 2 billion people. watched it, and they're all extremely wealthy, and we're missing out on this huge amount of money that we could be making. It's not that way at all. It's it's a huge group of people, and I don't want to put them down because of what their net worths are. But it's like in terms of money, if you compare the Premier League, you know what Premier League is, right? Do you know what the Premier League
Yeah.
is in soccer? Okay,
Yes.
you compare the Premier League, and those are the best players in the world, and they play a championship once a year or whatever, versus the NFL. The NFL is worth more than the Premier League. That's more comparable.
Mhm.
I will tell you this though: one day the United States, maybe over the course of the next century or so, will win a World Cup. It'll take time, but soccer's growing, and when it happens, it'll be the biggest sport event in the history of the
All
United
right.
States.
So like you are telling me it doesn't matter when World Cup final is was watching almost 2 billion people and Super Bowl only 100 150 million fans all over.
Well, the Super Bowl is every year, and the World Cup is once per year, or once per 4 years. So it's not fair. You're comparing an event that happens annually with one that happens every 4 years. It's rarer. If the World Cup happened every year, you wouldn't get 2 billion people watching. I'm not saying that the World Cup isn't a great event and I don't enjoy it. It's just soccer is the fifth biggest sport in the United States, and it's even getting surpassed by other sports. But one day the United States will have a really good soccer team, either because we pay people more or whatever, and it will be the biggest sporting event in global history when the United States wins the World Cup.
Mm. Mhm.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
All right. So, um, the United States hasn't ever even been close to winning a World Cup. So it doesn't get people don't get that excited for it. But one day it will, and then it'll become much bigger. But even still,
That's true.
the things that people don't like about it are pretty simple. It's too low scoring. It's so boring to watch a 0-1 match. It's too boring. The flopping, guys just falling down for no reason, is ridiculous. There are too many stoppages. The fact that it doesn't end at a given time, like in the United States in our big sports, when the time runs out, it's over. It's done. There's none of this, oh, well, there's this random amount of time that continues afterwards. You can manipulate games that way, and Americans don't like that.
I think your president show us you guys manipulating very good and very happy.
We do, but most Americans didn't really care about that. And if
I
anything,
will.
if anything, they should change the rules. If you do something bad in the game or whatever, why should you give the next team a huge advantage when they had nothing to do to earn that advantage?
Look, look, when you do horrible foul, you need to be punished.
Okay, then you throw the guy out of the game. great, and he can play the next time.